Hello. Good afternoon. Look how cute I look with this filter. Made my nose real skinny. And now I have double glasses because I already wear glasses in real life. But anyway, wanted to come on here for a second for my little daily rant. I know it's been a couple of days. I didn't want to rant on Easter. I wanted to, be in a good mood and not be frustrated about anything. But here we are, and it's Tuesday, and I'm back to being frustrated. Something that I'm a little bit frustrated about is, our school system for our young people, right? I know this may sound like something that many people speak about, but this is my daily rant because, I think that the school system nowadays should really look at what they're showing our children and maybe reevaluate the curriculum based on the times. I think that there's many subjects or classes that could be skipped, quite honestly, and could be completely eliminated, to be honest with you. And let's add some classes that bring value to our young individuals' lives, which is maybe something along the lines of learning, financial literacy. How about that one? Or learning, the importance of maintaining a high credit score. Or, teaching the fundamentals of home ownership and how that should always be the goal. What else? What else? What else? Obviously education, continued education, but I just really think that the young people, or at least past generations that have gone to school, unless they're going into some type of extension of basic school, they're not learning certain fundamental things that would benefit them the minute they turn 18 years old. Because as you know, many of these 18-year-olds, I've had three 18-year-olds in my lifetime. I've had three children, and the three of them were each faced with, very adult issues as soon as they turned the age of 18. I mean, look at telling an 18-year-old, telling my daughter, who is a complete young 18 year now she's 21, but when she turned 18, she was a very young, inexperienced 18-year-old. And some of the things that are thrown at you when you're 18, or you're no longer allowed to do under the supervision of an adult because now you're considered an adult, are a little bit overwhelming at first. And maybe, in school we should be teaching our young children, our young people, that this is what you will now be taking on when you turn 18 years old or when you get older. There is no book with a set of instructions of how we're supposed to live or how we're supposed to do things. And we're supposed to rely on our parents to teach us, right? To be there and to teach us, what it is to be, a young adult, excuse me. When you're a teenager, we guide, we mentor, we coach, we do all of the things that we need to do for our children. And then when they grow up, when they turn 18, the hope is that each parent has that, that moment with their children, or not that moment, it has that time with their children as they're growing up to teach them the fundamentals of life, right? But what about those kids that don't have that? What about those kids that, don't have those parents or those, people in their lives that can help them, in their, oh my goodness, I hate when I lose my words, but in their, in their journey, what about those kids and those young adults that don't have that guidance or that help or that mentorship? This is why I think, honestly, take a look at our school system. People really need to, whoever's in charge of those things needs to take a look and see if, do we need to revisit the things that we're teaching our young people? Are we setting them up for success? I hope that I was able to, let you know what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying for you to understand from this post. I meet so many young people that have no clue. You know what I mean? I meet so many young people that don't even know how to act in an interview, and I know that these are things that are coming up now, and they're, teaching these in school, teaching these type of lessons in school, for older, young adults, if anything, probably in those classes, college classes. But, I really think that, we need to do better for our young people, because there's things today that they should know that maybe weren't these subjects weren't needed, back in whenever these decisions were made and what was the curriculum that was going to be put in schools, and I get it, there's a lot of decision making, a lot of thought that has to go into these things. But, I think that, now we are in a new age, a new era. And, a lot of the things that we did do now are considered old fashioned by a lot of our young people. And, maybe we need to just take a minute to look at everything that, we are currently doing and see if it's, if it makes sense. Is it making us work harder, not smarter? That phrase. Or do we need to leave things the way that they are? And it makes sense in the day and age that we are today, that these children, our young people, are learning the things that they should be learning. But anyway, just my 2 cents. It's really not a rant. It's more of just, I just feel bad. I meet a lot of young people. And when I say young people, I'm talking about, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 24-year-olds, that some of them are very well, they were taught well. They had, you could tell that they had, support in their lives from a young age. But I've also met many people that have had no support in their life, and or maybe have had support, but I have met people that haven't had support. But some people have not had support, and maybe they just need help in figuring out things. And maybe, if in school they could teach these things, our young people will be better off when they're, sent out into this world without any type of guidance. Just my 2 cents.